I'd like to welcome everybody to the joint meeting of the Town of Southbridge School Committee and Town Council, Monday, February 3rd, 2025, 6 p.m. Council chambers. The agenda starts with agenda item number 1, meetings called to order. Number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Moving on to 3, roll call. Madam Secretary, first the council.
Councilor Lazo.
Present.
Councilor Montigny.
Present.
Councilor Chenier.
Present.
Councilor Daniel.
Present.
Councilor Dow. Present. Councilor Kelly.
Present.
Councilor Marquetti.
Present.
Councilor Ortiz.
Present.
And Councilor Rivas. Present. School Committee. Carla De La Cruz Davia. Present. Brittany Davison.
Excuse.
Steve Kabinski.
Present.
Andrew Murch.
He's running late.
Thank you. And Martina Shea. Present. Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item number 4, presentation of the Hispanic Achievement and Celebrating Excellence proclamations. At this time, we're going to entertain a motion to postpone.
So moved. Second.
Is a motion a second to
Question,
postpone?
Mr.
Discussion?
Do we have a
Martisha?
quorum of the school committee? Do we need a quorum of the school committee? We're supposed to
Yeah.
have 7, we only have 5 working, and 2 are missing. So
Well-
that means,
I think it's got to be a quorum of your, how many?
I thought it had to be the quorum of both.
5 is 3.
okay, just point of order.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, moving on to motion to postpone. We have a hiccup with the children being here, so we're going to postpone till next meeting.
So moved.
We already have a motion, a second on postponement. Discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote present. Moving on to 5, review the following candidates' requests to fill the 2-year two vacancies on the Southbridge School Committee pursuant to the Southbridge Home Rule Charter, Chapter 3, Section 3-2-1, vacancies. At this time, what we're going to do is we're going to do a 3-minute per candidate, and the candidates could come to the podium and tell us why, basically why should we vote for you and why would you want to be on the school committee. First up is Stephanie Rivers. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Stephanie Rivers, and I am running for one of the 2 seats for school committee. I hope that you vote for me because I am going to work hard for all students, parents, teachers, and residents of this town to ensure that being on the school committee, they have a voice and they are heard in regards to all school policies and also any issues that may arise that need to be addressed with the school system. I've lived in the town of Southbridge since 1974. I've also bought my home here and I am a homeowner. I'm invested in Southbridge. I'm invested in the school system. I went through this school system. My children also went through this school system. My father also taught in the school system as a math teacher for over 30 years. And one thing about me is when I say I'm going to show up, I show up. My best friend passed away this morning, and I thought long and hard about should I come tonight and continue with for the seat for a school committee. And I made the decision to show up tonight because I don't want anyone ever saying she didn't show up. So I'm here, I'm invested, and I plan to work hard if given the opportunity to be a member of the school committee for all students, for all parents, for all teachers, and for all residents of this town. So I hope you'll give me consideration this evening and cast your vote for me. I have experience, I have knowledge, I have education. I'm well-rounded in the IT field, in the sales and marketing field, in the business management field, And I also have wonderful analytic skills and customer service skills, also project management. I know I will be an asset if given the opportunity to be a member of the school committee. I've also served on general government for 2 years as a citizen member, and I also advocated after the tornado hit Southbridge in 2011, where I brought in local and state agencies in the aftermath of the tornado to return needed utilities to residents' homes. And I also brought in selectmen from Sturbridge with chainsaws into Southbridge to help remove trees from residents' homes down on Worcester and Charlton Street. I also advocated and raised funds and passed out gift cards 3 different times to the residents in this community during that time. And I also took part in many fundraisers with other organizers of other towns hit by the tornado. And 1 year later, I also organized and worked with the town for a community dinner for the residents to show that we were still hearing what happened and we were still invested in making sure the residents were provided for. I also came to town council many times and stood at this podium and asked for much needed relief for brush removal, and I took part in being a part of getting the sewer drains in on Charlton Street for the residents on Charlton Street. So I am a great activist, and I know how to network, and I know how to get work done. And so again, I ask for your consideration this evening to vote for me for one of the seats for school committee. And one thing I strongly am proud of is working with teams and being able to collaborate and resolve the issue and come to an end result that's positive for all. And I'm sorry if I'm overlapping my words, but with everything that's gone on today, I'm just trying my best to keep it together. But thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next candidate would be Maria Torres.
Good evening. My name is Maria Torres, and I am also a resident here at Southbridge, looking for a great opportunity like this to be a part of the school committee. I was a former candidate last year that ran for the school committee, and looking for another opportunity to be a part of the school committee. A little bit about myself is, I'm a former member of the EHS subcommittee. Based on my experience in the past, I do have education. At one point, I was a substitute teacher in my time, and then I focused on my engineering degree. And just, kind of looking to be a part of the subcommittee for budgets. I'm really good in the financial side. I think that I'd be a great candidate for that part. I'm also been, going to trainings for the Massachusetts Association for the school committee in regards to policy. And just, getting some more education and training to be a better asset to the school committee. And also, too, just want to focus, on student academic achievements, also, fostering a positive, inclusive school climate, working with the superintendent and all the other staff and admin, all the teachers, and the school committee together, along with the town council. So again, here I am, looking for another opportunity to be a part of the school committee, and hoping that I get voted in today. I'd be very honored. If you guys have any questions that you guys would like to ask, I'm here to answer anything.
Are there any questions by any councilors? If there are no questions, I thank you very much, Maria.
Thank you, and I'd be very honored for your vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, we're looking for Norma Tasnik. Norma Tasnik is... she's running late. She should be here shortly. We'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll give her a chance to get here. Thank you. We're all set? Okay, we're live. At this time here, I'd like to call Norma Tasnik. Tell us why you want to be on the school committee.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Norma Tesnik. I'd like to start off and say I am sorry for arriving late. I did have the wrong time, but here I So I've been a resident in Southbridge for 22 years. I came into the town as a teen parent, looking for a change, and this town had provided everything I needed to be who I am today, to have the education, to have the ability to want to pour back into my community. So Southbridge has been a blessing to myself and my family. I am running for the position that is open on the school committee for what I would say many reasons. I'll share a few. One, a committee is needed in order for a proper school, to come out of receivership, to provide the impact that is needed for our students and our parents and for our community. So because there was a position open, I felt, why not give back to the community that poured into me? Secondly, I do have 2 school-age children who are in the school system that, once again, I would like to impact, provide my knowledge, my skill sets, and most importantly, be an advocate for the students, the teachers, and the community.
Any questions by the council and school committee? Go ahead.
If elected, how would you ensure you're making informed decisions that reflect the needs of students, parents, and educators?
Well, I'd first like to interact and get to know more of these students, teachers, and the community by providing my personal time, by asking questions, engaging in, surveys, getting a depth of within from them, from their need, because we can all assume or, portray what is needed, but we are not in those positions. So hearing them and being a hearer and standing in a gap for those who need to be heard.
Thank you. I just also want to add that thank you for coming in to our trainings and wanting to learn more. I really appreciate that you're taking the initiative to get to know what our trainings are, what we're about, and asking us questions. That shows your interest and making that a priority when you don't have to do that. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
No further questions.
Any other questions by any other committee members? Mr. Murch?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. First, thank you to all of the candidates for putting your name in. The fact that we have 3 people for 2 seats again is a testament to the active involvement from the community and wanting to be engaged in with the school system. So that's great. I got a couple of questions. One of my questions is how and what capacities do you already give back to Southbridge?
Oh, I am currently on the steering coalitions committee. I volunteer currently for the Wellstorm Inc. I am an active member at the House of Destiny Church. I not only that, I seek outside, training and, resources. When I am contacted within a family member or a community member within Southbridge, I think I can speak for myself that I deliver resources for those families that do reach out to me currently.
All right. Have you visited any of the schools or gone to any of the school events over your time in Southbridge?
So I am not as active as I should have with my first 2 children, but I can say from when I felt a very deep urge from within my heart to want to start engaging more and start pouring back into my community. I will say that I've had a fair amount of meetings. So I've sat in for legislations, reporting or meeting at the WCAC last year. I also sat in those committees as well as a parent advocate, I believe. I've also Actually, I was able to meet the current principal at the Southbridge High, Ms. Doucette, and I met with Mr. House and Mr. Pomerino in regards to something that had happened with my own child, but the present and the way I was able to leave the office, you know, left me so confident that the school current members and teachers are here for our children. So like within just having those meets has left me very, very confident and proud of my town teachers.
Thank you. And one last question. If you are appointed to one of the seats this evening, do you intend to run for election in June?
I do.
Thank you. And no more questions, Mr. Chair.
Any further discussion? Council Rivas.
I just wanted to know, maybe apply those same questions to the other two candidates, just to hear
We
their
can
response.
ask them to come back up. Do you have any other questions for Ms. Tadler?
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Go ahead, George.
Thank you. I'm going to ask this of all three candidates. Last year, during the school year, we had some turmoil at the high school involving student walkout. As a school committee member, would you encourage these kids to walk out and protest in that term, or would you prefer a school committee member going before the kids and asking them to work it out either after school or with the administration instead of walking out and disrupting the school the way it was? And the reason in social media, there was a lot of encouragement for the kids to walk out. And I'm just curious how you as a school committee person, if you were selected, would handle that type of issue. And this would be for all three candidates.
Well, thank you for that question, because as a mother and a citizen, I was very disheartening in all that was happening, starting with the leadership to our students. I remember being reached out to support some meals that were being provided. I absolutely did not agree. So yes, hearing their voice and hearing what is important to these students, absolutely. But encouraging them to interrupt classes, I don't agree. I would stand in a gap for them, hear them out, make them feel welcome, make them feel heard as best as I can, and stand in a gap and advocate here for them, rather than do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions of this candidate? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Could we have one by one? Go ahead, Steph. We could start out with Councilor Shinya. Did you hear the question, the original
I
question?
did.
Ask them to speak into the microphone.
Speak into the microphone. Yeah.
I did. I heard Councilor
Okay.
Shinya's question. So, under the Constitution, we're all afforded the freedom of speech, and what took place last year was the students exercising their freedom of speech and what they believed to be true at that time and having their voices heard. Yes, I was up there as a supporter for my niece because my niece came to me and said she was locked in a room for exercising her freedom of speech, and that bothered me because we have a free and public school system, from what I understood, where it affords students the rights to be heard. So because of that, I and myself and other parents supported the children's rights to be able to exercise their freedom of speech, to be able to protest without retaliation. Under the Constitution, they're afforded that right. So yes, I was up there. I don't know what else to say about that, except that I was there in support of my niece because of the things that were going on revolving around that. And from what I could see, the students were well organized and they were able to peacefully protest outside of the school without any disruption during their protest time. You may have heard something else from other people in their opinion, but from my opinion, that's what I observed. Would I make that decision again as a school committee member? First of all, that's something in the future, and that's a hypothetical. So when that issue is presented, of course, as a school committee member, we would want to get all the information by asking relevant questions of the students to be able to hear them out at the school committee level as to what the issue is, to see if we can address it and work together to resolve it. So I would ask that we have that ability as school committee members to be able to address it in that manner. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case last year, and the students felt they had no other option but to go outside the school and protest what they believed to be true at that time.
Thank you. Council Rivas.
Thank you for that answer. So a couple weeks ago, we had a vote in regards to Dr. Villar and a vote of no confidence. As a school committee member, there is a DESE plan that the school committee is following, and you came here at that time and were very vocal about supporting the vote of no confidence. How would you sort of resolve that as a school committee member having to engage and follow this DESE plan, but also being absolutely against, Dr. Villar being part of that process?
I've said before as a resident that the current receivership in place in the last 9 years have made no significant positive changes to the turnaround plan that has been put in place by the state of Massachusetts back in 2015. As the law states in the turnaround plan, vaguely and ambiguously, the turnaround plan is supposed to be a 3-year plan. However, it's extended into a 9-year plan. As an investor, you would hope to see a return on investment with a positive outcome for your investment. We're into the 9th year of receivership now, and we still have not seen any positive results. We've seen issues continually arise with an almost 5% decrease in graduation in the last year alone. I would hope after 9 years, we could start to see a turnaround with positive results. Whether or not that is true with this plan that is in place, after reading the document, what concerns me is page 3, with no specific dates for phase 1 and phase 2, and with a caveat stating school committee members could return to phase 1 if the need is felt by 2 members of the Department of Secondary Education and secondary education feel they have not met the criteria for phase 1 and phase 2. And I brought up this concern last year in May when the document was being when the document was being discussed, that the negotiations should go back to the table to get more defined dates put on that document, so that phase 1 and phase 2 had set dates to meet criteria, so that the plan in place could have a little bit more organization and structure. That didn't take place, so what we're left with is an open-ended document with no specific timeline, set date in place, and it's just open-ended to as when. It will eventually happen, nobody knows, and that concerns me, and that would be something that I would still like to address as a school committee member going forward.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, and just a little bit more on that. How would you specifically work with Dr. Villar in light of all of that?
I would definitely have that conversation in that document in regards to the way it's worded, to see if it can have more tightening up on the wording with specific dates in place for phase 1 and phase 2, to actually have a more specific deadline in place for receivership ending and returning the school system to the school committee. That would be one of the things I would like to work on.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Any other questions by any other council, school committee? Mr. Murch?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. You did a very, I walked in towards the tail end. I do apologize for being late. Traffic on the Pike is not fun. But you did express very well the things you have done in the past, so I won't ask you again how you're involved within the community now. But one of the main questions I did ask the previous candidate, if appointed to one of these positions tonight, do you intend on running for election in June?
Yes.
Okay. I will, as chairman, we've been moving forward with the DESE plan. We actually have a meeting with the commissioner later this week. And I understand the points of there's no set dates and timelines. My question is, we're trying to make sure that as stewards for the district, we try to express a lot of the positive outcomes that we are currently having in the district as much as we can.
Correct.
And I as firsthand understand frustration with receivership and with the district. But my question is would you have the ability to put that to the side and be a positive steward for the Southbridge school system in light of all of the issues that we may have as far as in the public eye?
For how long put that aside?
As long as you just stated that you would run for re-election. If you were to win, that would be a next 3-year term. We don't have a definitive timeline, but the commitment isn't based on a timeline. So my question is, would you be able to put that to the side and be a positive steward for the district and express a lot of the positive things that are happening within Southbridge Public Schools in the public eye?
Well, of course I would, but there's also that issue that is in the background that is still going to be there. So will it never be discussed? Is that what you're asking?
When we're in the public, we need to be stewards as school committee members. We need to be stewards for the district, and we need to be publicly supportive of the positive things that are going on in the district. Typically, in my experience, if I have issues, yes, I have expressed them in public, but I have learned as I've been training and grown as a person that sometimes shouting from the rooftop by yourself doesn't really give the exact thing that you need it to. So I personally, if I have issues, I address them in a private manner. Would you be able to address your issues privately, but still push the positive things that are going on in Southbridge Public Schools? Would you be able to put that to the side in order to continue to move forward and establish that collaborative relationship with the current administration?
In the current administration, in the present, yes, but down the road, should there be no progress, it would be an issue I would bring up again, as a reminder.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion? Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. As an elected member of a school committee, would you see your role as representing your constituents and their priorities in relation to education, or would you view your role as a promoter of the unelected superintendent or receiver and DESE?
As a member of the school committee, I would see my role as a representative of the students, teachers, staff, and residents and parents of this town, and working for them 100%.
Any other discussion? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maria, would you come back up? Thank you very much. Any questions? Councilor Senya?
Do I need to repeat my question, or do you remember?
No, that was good. That was a great question, Councilor Chandler. No, I would not encourage or promote, that incident that had happened last year, because, a part of policy of being in the school committee is collaborating with the superintendent and the school committee in regards to situations like that, and we would have to resolve any issues like that working together. As far as to Councilor Rivas's question, as well on the DESE program, we don't want, you don't get different things, you don't get the same results doing the same thing. You don't get different results doing the same thing. So the fact that the DESE program has already been, moving forward, we're seeing great results with that, and we want to continue working together as a team. And that's what I'm here for, and continue with these meetings and continue with the subcommittees and just being involved together and working together.
Thank you. Any other questions? Committee Member Murch?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. What are you currently, this is a question I've asked the other candidates, what are you currently doing as far as your involvement in giving back to the community?
I've been going to the Massachusetts Association for School Committee at the moment to continue getting training. It's something that I will continue doing as well. And, continue being involved with the subcommittees that are available and where my need could be utilized. So, yeah, it's a work in progress.
Thank you. If you are appointed to a position this evening, would you run for election in June?
Yes, sir.
All right. Also, one last question. There is a lot of public animosity for receivership, and sometimes sometimes experiences can hinder progress, but would you be able to put the negative things aside and be able to move forward as a positive steward of the district and express a lot of the positive outcomes that are occurring within Southbridge Public Schools?
Absolutely. We're all leaders. We have to lead by example, so.
Thank you. Those are all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Rivas?
Just going back to Mr. Murch's previous question about what buildings have you been into in the school system, and as a parent, what are some parent engagement activities that you have done in the school district?
That's another great question, Councilor Rivas. Thank you. So I do have 3 children that are in 3 different schools in our district. I have my son who's that does football. He got the All-Star Award, and we have Natalia that's captain of our Southbridge school basketball team. So they're all involved in great sports. I'm a very involved parent, but I also understand to separate being a parent as well as being a school committee member, because as a whole, we want to make sure that every parent has that opportunity. And I'm very big in engagements with the kids. I've gone to a few events in the middle school. I always tend to talk to other teachers and engage conversations with everyone. And I try to make it to all the events during the day over, at West Street and in the middle schools, and, be very engaged, because, when you're there, you understand more, you get a big appreciation to the teachers and the whole staff on what they're doing for our students. So I'm very honored to have that opportunity to be able to be involved as I am.
Thank you. No further.
Any other questions by any other councils? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd just like to make a quick comment from the chair. It's interesting, the questions tonight almost divide, and that's not what we're supposedly trying to work for. So going forward, the only advice I can give you, and I have more years on the school committee than the whole school committee, is trust and verify. Don't put your head in the sand, as some people do, and say, everything's wonderful. Let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya, because it's not wonderful. You will be picked to solve problems. You will be picked to choose people eventually as your superintendent. Verifying budgets, policy is a big job on school committee. I learned more on school committee than I did as a counselor, and I know that there are other people that have served on both boards that say the same thing. Because when it comes to negotiating, once you get into a full-powered school committee, it's an amazing concept that you're empowered with so much, to do so much, and to control your district. We as counselors are overseers of the town. We have a town commitment. We have many departments. But going forward, I'm going to tell you straight up, Jack Jovan is town manager. We have blowouts in the office, discussions, good healthy discussions. We come out unified after the healthy discussion. You're not put to the curb, or him and I just have that relationship. I urge all counselors, my fellow counselors, to do the same thing. Have healthy debate on the floor, even if it's on TV. But don't get personal. Think about what your job is. Your job isn't to take care of Mr. Villar. Your job is to take care of the school system. My job is to take care of Mr. Jovan. My job is to take care of the town. Town first all the time. And that, as long as that's in the forefront, you're going to be fine. And that's the only advice I can give you at this time. If there's no further discussion, we're going to move on to Agenda item number 6. Entertain a motion to nominate the following candidate to fill the vacancy on the Southbridge School Committee effective immediately through June 10th, 2025, the next town election date, and according to the Southbridge Home Rule Charter, Chapter 3, Section 3-2-1, vacancies created by the resignation of John Shaw. Nominations, Vice Chairman? Vice Chairman. Carla?
Yep, I would like to nominate Maria Torres.
There's nominations of Maria Torres. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Councilor Kelly?
I move to nominate Stephanie Rivers.
There's a nomination for Stephanie Rivers. Are there any other nominations? Martina Shea?
I move to nominate Norma
Tasnick?
Tessick.
There's a nomination of Norma Tasnick. 3 candidates are nominated, and I would just like to explain to the committees that what we're going to do is a roll call. We're going to go through the school committee, then through the council, and state the name of the candidate that you want to be in this position. Madam Secretary? Council Dow?
Through you, so you're going to say the 2 candidates same time now?
No.
Or one?
There's a, the agenda item reads, created by the resignation of John Shaw.
Okay.
So we're dealing with John Shaw's office. There were 2 different school committee posts. So everybody got nominated to John Shaw's. Any other discussion on that? Madam Secretary, roll call.
Am I starting with the council first?
That's fine.
Thank you. Councilor Lazo?
I'm going with Torres.
Councilor Montigny?
Torres.
Councilor Chenier?
Torres.
Councilor Daniel?
Torres.
Councilor Dow?
Torres.
Councilor Kelly?
Rivers.
Councilor Marquetti?
Torres.
Councilor Ortiz?
Torres.
Councilor Rivas?
Torres.
Okay. School committee? Carla?
Torres.
And Steve Kaminsky?
Torres.
And Andrew Murch?
Torres.
And Martina Shea?
Torres.
Thank you.
Okay, it's Torres 13, Rivas 1. Not Rivas, I'm sorry. Rivers, I got an R here, so I can't Rivas. Rivers 1, I'm sorry. Congratulations, Maria. If you'd like to say something, feel free. And then we're going to move on to the next agenda.
I appreciate all the counselors and also all the school committee members, and you won't be disappointed. I'm here for all of you and looking forward for this next term and to show you what I can bring to the table. Thank you all. Thank you.
Congratulations. Moving on to agenda item number 7. No, we're on to 8. We're on to 8, the vote was taken. Moving on to 8, entertain a motion to nominate the following candidate to fill a vacancy on the Southbridge School Committee effective immediately through June 10th, 2025, the next town election dated according to the Southbridge Home Rule Charter, Chapter 3, Section 3-2-1, vacancies created by Kathy Lapiori. At this time, I'd like to open up nominations for this position. Carla Dela Cruz.
Norma Tisnick.
Nominating Norma Tasnick. Any other nominations? Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, move to nominate Stephanie Rivers, please.
Nominate Stephanie Rivers. The 2 remaining candidates have been nominated for the position. We'll do a roll call.
Councilor Montigny?
Rivers.
Councilor Chenier?
Tasnick. Is that how you say it? Tasnick?
Okay, thank you. Councilor Daniel?
Tisnick.
And Councilor Dow?
Rivers.
Counselor Kelly,
Rivers.
Counselor Marquetti,
Tisnick.
Counselor Ortiz,
Rivers.
and Counselor Rivas.
Tisnick.
Alrighty, and Carla Davia? Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor
forgot- you
Lazo.
forgot the chair?
Counselor Lazo,
I know I'm very small behind this microphone. Tasnick?
thank you. And Carla Davia?
Tisnick.
Thank you. Steve Gabinski,
Tisnick.
Andrew Murch,
Tisnick.
and Martina Shea.
Tizick.
Thank you.
You have 9-4?
Yes.
We have 9-4. Norma Tasnick is the new school committee member. Congratulations. Would you like to get up and say something?
I'd like to say to all councils and residents of Southbridge, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I started the year with a goal, and we're at February 3rd, and here I am, so you won't be disappointed.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Shinga, seconded by Daniels. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Thank you very much. We'll reconvene for the dog hearing is next. Thank you.